I stepped into the cramped, shadowy examination room, clipboard clutchedly, my heart racing with an urgency I couldn't ignore. This wasn't my first time helping with a patient's exam, eaten unsettling. Feeling gripped me, macking everything, feel different. In the chaos of the downtown clinic, I thought I had witnessed it all, but nothing could brace him for what was coming with Richard Hale. In his early 50s, he was a man of few words, often lost in his own world. He walked in for a simple check-up, booth felt off as I entered the room. An unsettling tension gripped me. Today was unlike any other. He sat on the bed, tense and unsure, every muscle coiled with anxiety. His eyes flickered anxiously, and he squirmed beneath the flimsy hospital gown. "Good afternoon, Richard Hale," I said softly, my smile warm, as I stepped inside. "Are you okay today?" He nodded fast, yet his eyes preyed a storm of unease. A sense of fewness lingered. I moved in, adjusting the monitoring equipment, straightening his gown, ready to help him face the exam. As I shifted, an unexpected sight caught my eye through the delicate fabric. My eyes caught something beneath the gown's fabric, and I quickly turned away. I stood still, heart racing, my cheeks burned. Andy averted my gaze, forcing myself to maintain my composure. I once held that idol of a nurse. I was prepared for the uncomfortable moments. Sometimes, this is show it goes. It was merely anatomy, yet its sudden appearance, striking without warning, rattled me deeply. "Let's get you ready for the doctor," I said, my voice steady as I adjusted the sheet once more. But as I moved, he shifted again, to fast this time. The gown shifted unexpectedly, and I quickly looked away, trying to maintain professionalism. All was laid bare. I gasped, my head snapping around desperately, seeking to regain my composure. A storm of thoughts surged through my mind. Should I confront Itakite the room, act like it never occurred? Just as I was about to choose, the door cracked open behind me. "My apologies, I didn't mean to intrude," a voice silence. Another nurse peering in. She blinked, a flicker of awareness crossing her face, then hurried back, slamming the door behind her. I glanced at Richard Hale, his face pale with shock. He shadow shielded himself, yet the tension clung to the air, palpable and heavy, his face-born eyes fixed on his lap, Shuningani gaze. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, his voice trembling. I inhaled, deeply, fighting to reclaim my grip. "It's fine, one need to prepare you for your exam, Okias." I reached for fresh linens, his hand brushed against mine, perhaps accidentally. It unsettled me. I stood still, heart racing. It felt light almost by chance, yet the way it lingered forced me to wonder if it was a mistake or a subtle mess. My skin tingled, and I froze, caught in a whirlwind of uncertainty. My instincts urged me to dismiss it, to keep going, yet my gut screamed for caution. Suddenly, the door swung open once more. Jer Mitchell stood, oblivious the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. "Is everything okay in here?" he entered with a bright smile, flipping through the patient chart, unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. "Absolute elictor." I moved aside in a flash. "Richard Hale is prepared." I forged ahead, never glancing back. I had to escape the room as the doctor started his usual questions. I slipped away, heart pounding. Door clicked shut. Yet the uneasy word that afternoon, while I was busy with chart updates, my phone buzzed, a message from the front desk. "Richard Hale has requested Nurse Emily for tomorrow's full up." The message held me captive. Mr. Mack nodded in dread. Why must it beam? Did I mess up? Had I glimpsed up something forbidden? Or had something profound begun to grow? The next day arrived in a heartbeat. Once more I stood for Richard Hale's door, heart racing. Inhaled deeply before knocking, urged myself to remain composed, focus a distant. As the door swung open and orgazes locked, the tension surged back, raw and palpable. This time, he smiled. A bold contrast to the shy, embarrassed look from yesterday. It felt transformed, brim with assurance and mastery. "I've been thinking about you," Hugh whispered, his voice trembling. My heart raced as I stifled a laugh. "Richard Hale, let's concentrate on your checkup," I urged, my voice steady, determined to steer the discussion back on course. As he approached his farine, my mind surged with a whirlwind of thoughts. A wrong lingered in the air. A nagging dread was that this was only the start. Next morning, I entered the clinic, resolve hardening within me to maintain me distance. The day before had shaken me to my core. I told myself to stop overthinking, that perhaps Richard Hale would simply awkward and embarrassed. Yet the weight of it all consumed me. Then his request pierced my thoughts, humanted me back. That smile was real, undeniable. I immerse myself in the chaos of other patients racing through morning vittles and drowning in paperwork. At 10 o'clock a.m., the front desk buzzed. "Richard Hale awaits in exam room 3. He wants Ewan you." My stomach churned. I seized my chart and squared my shoulders. This time everything would be crystal clear. I'll be straightforward, even if it means keeping my distance. Endure it all. As I entered the room, Richard Hale sat upright, clad once more in a hospital gown. He seemed at ease, almost unnervingly so. His hands rested in his lap, face a mask of mystery. Morning has arrived, I greeted him, urgency lacing my words. Time to gear up. His smile returned, a haunting confidence flickering in his gaze. It's you, and that makes all the difference. I stopped today, we prioritize our care. He fell silent as I drew near, fiddling with his four-tubing eyes. Gluto, the monitor. I moved with precision, avoiding any hesitation as I leaned in to adjust the cuff on his arm. He whispered again, soft and conspiratorial. Haunt my thoughts. My jaw tightened. Richard Hale, my focus is your care, not personal matters. He smiled, a knowing look in his eyes, as if he had anticipated this all along. His gaze tracked my every move, a chilling intensity in his stare. The door swung wide, a breath held in the silence. My heart raced as I caught sight of Anna Thurperson entering, but my relief vanished in an instant. It was never the doctor, a woman mid-40s, with sharp features, simply dressed, yet absent of scrub. She entered, determination in her eye, surveying the space. Her gaze pierced through me before darting to Richard Hale. Her voice was steady yet strained. I walk in at the wrong moment. Richard Hale's expression wavered, a fleeting crack in his facade. Absolutely not. I stood tall, heart racing. Just a Budo, wrap it all up, I'll step away. Just you. To now. I darted past her, escape in Jinto, the hallway, before her words could catch me. With the door shutting, I gasped head for breath. Her face lingered, ice-piercing tone steady. She was his everything. I already felt it deep within him. She felt it deep down, a whisper, after it, lurking just beneath the surface seat, the nurse's station. I fought to erase it, the encounter from my mind. Her gaze haunted me, a silent warning of secret Suniarth. In that room I couldn't tell if I had escaped danger or facade humiliation that afternoon. As I files another message, Era Ved Richard Hale requests your presence again tomorrow for the follow-up exam. Ha needs your assistance. My eyes locked on the screen, breathless. I couldn't let this continue. I approached Monica Thelid, nurse, and requested a different caregiver for Richard Hale tomorrow. He appears unnervingly at ease. I remarked cautiously, I need some distance. Monica's brow furrowed. Tomorrow's a tight squeeze a bit. I'll find a way. Unease gripped. Meth next day came too soon. I scanned there. My name lingered beside Warren Inhold, sharply steeling myself for what lay ahead this time. I was more than a nurse. I entered with my walls up. I was prepared to lay it all bare. As I stepped inside, he was there, waiting this time. Air crackled with unspoken tension, held a serious expression. He wastens. He gazed out the window, fists tight in his lap. I wanted to talk to you, murmured, his back still turned. He stood frozen at the threshold. What is it about? He turned his head, locking eyes with me, reflecting on the past. I remained still, my voice steady, masking storm within. I'm here for your Richard Hale. Any other matters must be taken up with administration. He slowly shook his head, a silent storm brewing within. No need for masks, you felt it, don't you? A chill slithered down my spine. I believe you've got it wrong, stated with conviction. What you believe occurred never took place. He leaned in anticipation, crackling in the air. You stayed even when you should have left. Suddenly the door creaked open once more. It was never the doctor, it was his wife. She entered silently, her gaze darting around the room, locking onto Methan, shifting to him. What's happening, Gare? She inquired with an icy calm. I stepped back, heart racing. I was on my way out. Her gaze pierced through me as I stepped past and out the door, cutting like glass in the corridor. I exhaled through it of unspoken tension, lifting a dark shadow loomed, and an unsettling dread whispered that this was far from finished. The remainder of that shift was a blur, heavy and disorienting. Each time I walked by the hallway near exam room 3, my heart raced, bracing for the sight of Richard Hale, or even more dreadfully, his wife. I buried myself in charts, vital sand, patient check-ins, fighting to mask the unease that simmered just below the surface. Yet it was his gaze haunted Mehis. Words echoed in my mind, and the isocom of his wife's voice pierced the air when she entered and demanded to know what was happening. The relentless ping off my work tablet echoed in my mind. Richard Hale has requested you for his next visit, a haunting presence. It couldn't escape by day end. I was utterly drained. I clocked out, heart racing, and rushed to the staff exit, desperate for freedom of fresh air. As I turned thickener, there he was, Richard Hale Studeby, the double doors code on, heart racing, waiting. I halted, heart racing. I just wanted to talk, he said, his voice dropping, casual yet heavy, as if we were two friends reuniting after a long day. Iskin, the handful of nurses brushed by the station, oblivious to the world around them. Richard Hale, this crosses the line, he moved in, heart racing. Fear not. I mean you no harm. I feel nothing, I deceived, yet I feel a deep unease. You've gone too far. Just as I was about to walk away, a voice perceived the silence from behind. Emily Mark, a junior staff member from radiology, stood there. He waved a smile breaking a crocious face. I instinctively turned back to him, relief flooding through me at the distraction. When I turned back, Richard Hale had already retreated. His expression, a complete mystery once more. I whispered. I walked away in silence. Following day, I insisted to Monica once more that I couldn't continue with Richard Hale's care. She vowed to try, but our limited staff hope felt distant. He steered clear of his hallway, seeking grudge in every other corner. Desperado grasped a shred of normally that afternoon in a fleeting moment of respite in the staff room. A message flashed on me. Tablet Warren urgently. Seeks nurse Emily critical. A wave of nausea crashed over me. I nearly let it go, nearly overlooked it yet. I didn't. I snatched my badge, adjusted my scrubs, and headed back to room 3. If he dared to act again, I would end it right then and there. As he into the room, I braced myself, or his immediate words. He never did. Hale perched on the bed's edge, eyes fixed on the window, his expression heavy with unspoken thoughts. Text. I need to speak with you, he said, his gaze averted. I maintained a calm demeanor. What about your care? Absolutely not. What transpired? I lingered by Theodore. Richard Hale. I've said it before, has been around, silencing me completely. Do you really believe you're the only one? I blinked and everything changed. Stunned and breathless. I'm done with games, he said, standing up slowly. Yet you can't ignore the undeniable presence of something profound. No one knows. It carries weight. I'm focused on maintaining professionalism. I broke headvanced yet. I stood firm suddenly. I reached for my wrist. I stepped back immediately. Don't, I warned, yanking my arm back with urgency. His smile barely flickered. Promise me you won't say a word. Okay, you understand the weight off this moment. Then the door creaked once more. There she was, just outside. Clocadin shadowed his wife. She had lingered long enough to catch a whisper, her gaze wazy, a fortress of mystery. Her silence pierced the air, eyes locked in a fierce gaze. I hurriedly retreated, slipping out off the room, not daring to look back at either of them. My heart raced, each beat a painful reminder of the moment. Uncertainty gripped me. I had no idea what Evelyn Hale had overheard. I was lost in her uncertainty, yet I felt a shift within me as I prepared to leave the clinic for the last time that night. I caught sight of her, Evelyn Hale, waiting at the front desk. I need a word, she said, her voice a whisper yet piercing. I paused, then gave a slight nudge, pulled me into a cramped, worn office down the hall. As the door clicked shut, spun around, arms tightly crossed. Icy, the truth behind your actions. With my heart shattered. No, Mamet. Not what you believe. Stop lying, she snapped. I've witnessed his gaze on you, and your reaction speaks volumes. I swear, I did nothing wrong. I insisted, fighting to keep my composure. You're on at the first, she said, her voice icy, but you can be the last. And with that was gone. I stood there alone, fluid of the air pressing down on meth. Boundaries faded, the game shifted, and this was far from finished. I blurred into a whirlwind of anxiety and vigilance. I lingered in the shadows, off clinic, steering clear of exam room 3 at all costs. I altered my break schedule at a sprint to avoid both Richard Hale and his wife. The burden of that moment clung to me, unshakable. Her warning reverberated in my thoughts, relentless and urgent, yet I was unready for what followed. The evening wore on, shadows deepening as the last of the staff slipped away. As I wrapped up the paperwork by the nurse's station, I caught sight of Richard Hale at the end off the hall, solitary and expectant. My breath hitched. He shouldn't have been at all. His checkups had ended. He's still here. I rose, poised to slip out the back door. As I rounded the corner, he emerged, blocking my path. Emily, he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, heavy with fatigue. One need to talk. We've said all there is to say. I shot back a response, eager to slip by him. He blocked my path softly, not with anger, but just enough to make him pay attention. She spoke. Too, you didn't, he inquired. I nodded, my back rigid. Indeed she did. We should end this now, before it spirals into something we can't control yet. Rather than retreating, he smiled, a slow disking grin. She has no idea what's really at stake. Once more, I sensed its tension, the looming danger. In an instant his hand closed around my wrist, leaving me breathless. Release me. I broke free, a surge of raw emotion propelling forward. This is torment. You won't report me, will you? I didn't mean to make things uncomfortable. It's your truth versus my truth. My words caught in me throat as I saw her lurking just beyond the shadows of the hallway. His wife, she knew it all. A chill swept through the hallway, silence enveloping. Richard Hale froze, the truth dawning as I gazed over his shoulder, head earned, a heartbeat hanging in the air. Of Lynn Hale stood, arms crossed, hair expression void of emotion, her eyes burst through, sharp and calculating. Is everything okay here? She asked, her voice unnervingly calm. I recoiled, heart racing. I was on my way out. I slipped Bitham in silence, racing for the exit, my heart hammering in my chest. Was it Tomato Face? Him would she face me once more? I wished I could remain in the dark. I believe that was the final chapter. Just as I was about to step out of the clinica, hand gripped my shoulder. I spun around, poised for action. It was her, the one who haunted his dreams, Evelyn Hale. Wait, she whispered, her voice trembling. I locked eyes with her, torn between flight and the urge to hear her out. Her tone sent a chill through me, halting my every thought. We need to talk, she said, motioning to the vacant consultation room close by. With hesitation, I trailed bent her. She shut the door behind her and turned to me, her face a mask off. Miss Derry, I've witnessed the way he gazes at you, she whispered. I understand his true potential. My mouth felt parched. So he is that I'm not here to threaten, Yush declared, her voice steady. I'm here for you. What is happening? I'm not who you will believe me to be, she pressed on. Tommy husband harbors a shadow within Heplays, with hearts, particularly those off women. I've witnessed it happen before. I've held back long enough. I remained quiet. With a swift motion, she retrieved a folder from her handbag and pressed it into my hands. Within lay photos, documents, messages, fragments of a life that revealed a stranger I never anticipated. For years he's been a ditch, whispered, not just nurses, but colleagues, neighbors, and even a family friend. My hand shook violently as it earned the pages. You see, she said, her voice now steady, this transcends you on Ma. It's all about control. He wants land until someone makes him. I gazed upward. Why share this with me? With trembling fingers she retrieved a small silver key from her bag. I need your help, Doe. Bring the truth to light. We can end this together safely. What is happening? In foot in the fire, she whispered. Why not set it ablaze? The world blurred. Andy teetered on the edge of consciousness. Cowed. She really mean it? Is this a trapid? She finally abandoned the facade oft ideal spouse. Just as I was about to respond, she swung the door wide. Consider it, she whispered, stepping away. But hurry, he's plotting his next step. There I stood, fold her clutched key, trembling in my grasp, caught in a shadowy abyss, far beyond my worst fears. Now I faced a choice: turn my back and erase it all, or stay and embrace the unknown that awaited. Thank you for buying part of this story.